What new game release are you looking forward to the most and why?
Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. The world in that is 1-to-1 scale, and you can visit your house or wherever, literally any country, the smallest or biggest country ever. I've never played a flight sim in my life, but I watched some videos on this recently and my goodness does it look amazing. Stunning graphics, but the scale of it is mind-blowing. Kerbal Space Program 2. The first game was, and still is, amazing. The mechanics of the game, the way it teaches science while having fun and its extremely wholesome community is extremely impressive. All of this came from a company not even dedicated to game development. The sequel? Developed by a proper game developing company. The developers are truly caring about the game, many of which have spent thousands of hours in the original. Building on the successes of the original while also adding a whole new dimension to the game. Amazing graphics, new planets, colonies, and multiplayer. How can one not be excited? In my astronautics class in college, people literally used it to simulate and check their homework for topics like Hohmann transfers and gravity assists. It's amazing how much it teaches you while still being incredibly fun. When KSP came out, I was a high school kid with a mild interest in space. Now I have a degree in aerospace engineering and I'm so goddamn excited to play KSP 2. It's not a stretch to say that KSP was the main thing that sparked my interest in spacecraft design. Age of Empires 4 AoE was the first computer game I really got into and I've enjoyed each installment since. AoE 3 and the expansions were a blast, so I've been checking in on news of AoE IV every year or so for over a decade. Anyone who had the original hardcopy edition of AoE 3 knows that the included pamphlet had a teaser for IV. And that was like 2005/6. Baldur's Gate 3 by Larian Studios. I loved Divinity 2 Original Sin and felt that its systems would work brilliantly for D&D. Turns out I was right and it'll be the best RPG to come out in years. I'm playing Divinity Original Sin 2 for the first time right now. Holy crap, the game is perfect. I am not even a big fan of turn-based strategy-type combat because I suck at it, but the level of creativity the combat system allows is insane. Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be amazing. Crusader Kings 3. CK2 is one of my favorite ever games. Also, it feels like ages since I spent 20 billion quid on DLC, so that's an added bonus. Yes. The only thing that sucks is having to then wait on the Song of Ice and Fire Game of Thrones mod to get up and going. Then it's going to have to work out the bugs. That mod for CK2 is the ASOIF strategy, storytelling game we deserved to get, but never did. It's so thorough. My best game was several hundred hours and lasted 200+ years after Robert's Rebellion. Turns out, if Ned dies at the Tower of Joy, all works out well for mostly everybody. Lyanna fled to Essos with Jon, whose descendants are crushed in a feeble attempt to retake Westeros. After seeing how Lyanna really felt, he doesn't hold her on a pedestal, so he isn't hung up on her when he married Cersei. Trying to live up to the ideals of his recently departed best friend, he sent Jaime to the Wall and becomes the noble king Ned believed he could eventually become. 200+ years the Baratheon dynasty is still thriving, with Baratheons in control of Storm's End, and with distant relatives in control of the Vale and Winterfell, until Matilda Stark the Black Widow claims the seat against her young Baratheon nephew who is the descendant of King Robert II and the daughter of Lord Paramount Robb Stark. Through marriages and few Tyrell sons, Highgarden is now controlled by the Tullys, the Greens, as well as their ancient seat of Riverrun, the Blues. Generations later, the Greens and Blues are frequently at war and engage in a perpetual conflict that frequently requires the intervention of the Crown. Few families hate each other as much as these two separate factions. Robert IV, also known as Robert the Conqueror, invaded and captured the free cities of Pentos and Lee. After marriages between the crowned prince and free city nobles to secure the rule of the formerly free cities, their descendants would eventually spread to the Vale and secure the Eyrie though marriage and the extinguished line of Lord Arryn. The Vale is now primarily controlled by fundamentalist Red priests and a distant Baratheon and a free city descendant who converted her lord husband, as it the dominant religion in the Vale. When I last played, things were about to come to a head between the Vale and the Crown over differing religions, as royal troops moved to crush the Red Rebellion. Man, this mod is great. I might have to fire up a new game and start over. This was a couple years ago. Ghost of Tsushima, just the setting and how vast an open world it's gonna be gets me excited. I think the fact that they are being historical and avoiding any magic fantasy is refreshing and makes me curious about how the combat dueling system is gonna work. I'm sad this was so far down on the list. I'm also extremely excited for this game. I loved Sucker Punch's infamous games, and they've been working on this game so long I hope it's good. The E3 trailer from a couple years ago sold me on the game just from an aesthetic point of view. Looks like it's going to be Red Dead Assassin's Creed in feudal Japan. That's badass. Hollow Knight. Silksong Hollow Knight is one of the few games which have extremely high polish, a good world building, tight gameplay and amazing environmental storytelling. Add to that a discount level launch price and free DLC. If Team Cherry keeps that quality up then I will be in heaven. Titanfall 3 because its movements and actions are good, their storyline it's amazing and it has a variety of things that make the game so cool. Playing online has its positive things and most importantly it is not pay-to-win game. Cyberpunk 2077, love the look of the gameplay so far, can see CD Projekt Red really making a masterpiece of a game. Main reason for it would be I love the aesthetics and possibilities within the game. This game has been in development since before May 2012. I hope it's good. Had to scroll down way further than I expected to find this comment. I really thought this would be higher up on the list. CD Projekt Red is one of the best game studios out there right now in my opinion. It sucks that it got delayed but I'd rather them take their time and get it right than have another Fallout 76 situation. There was a game Arcane Studios put out a trailer for called Deathloop that looked really awesome at the last E3. I've not heard a word about it since that trailer, but it had a really interesting central idea: two assassins trapped in an endless cycle of killing one another, a retrofuturistic art style and is being made by the developer of Prey, which I really enjoyed. So I have a lot of faith in this one being really solid. Saw a lot of Cyberpunk 2077 and Hollow Knight Silksong here, which are both on my list of let's buy that one as soon as we can, but I don't hear much about Deathloop since it was announced. The next indie game which I become obsessed with, dig 200 hours into and then suddenly drop after I've sufficiently worried my friends and family. I don't know what it is yet. I just know it's coming. Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I've never played the original. Have a Wii but no GameCube adapter or controller. I've heard great things about it and like other games like Mario Odyssey. I've heard great things about the game, and love that they're adding back unused stuff like the Robo-Squidward boss. Edit, I know people don't like edits like this but thanks for my first ever gold award. Edit 2, damn, I didn't realize so many people were excited for this game. Edit 3, since apparently so many people weren't aware of it, the game comes out on June 23.